Hey, everybody. We are back again for another Tuesday night edition of MLB DFS preview show over on Draftkings. I'm Jason O over at Paydirt DFS. Yeah, a tough act to follow today if you were in our Discord. Our very own Nikki Diesel giving his play of the day breakdown, hashtag feed a fish, coined by the great Pablo, the champ. Yeah, it's going to be a tough act to follow. If you're in the Discord, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pure comedy. I actually don't even know where to go from here. But if you are not in the Discord, you don't know what I'm talking about, that should be your cue to come check us out. The community is absolutely awesome. We're about a little over a month out from NFL, and we're going to have great content there too. We're going to return our favorite show too with me and Tribe, who you've seen on the show a few different times. We have a show weekly called The Bakery on Thursday nights where we break down the main slate on Sundays, and I'm excited for that. Our subscribers had a great year last year. It's going to be another great season. Come check us out over for NFL season, and also come check us out at the end of MLB. But let's dive into it. We, again, as usual, have a very, very large slate tonight. And let's get started by looking at some pitching. So first and foremost here, you're going to see a stark projection difference at the top here. Granted, though, you are going to pay for it. So the highest projected pitcher today is Garrett Crochet at 10.9. He's got a projection median of 24.42, and he's got a 20 plus percentage of 70%, a 2x percentage of 56.4. He's a very, very strong value, even at that salary. I want to try and play him if I can today, and really here's why. So as always, I like to go over to Fangraphs. It's a free resource, everybody. So over the last 30 days, you'll see here Kansas City. Overall, last 30 days, not a bad offense against left-handed pitching. ISO approaching 100, very good. Strikeout, 23.2%. When we go and lower that sample to 14 days, jumps to 25%. WRC plus drops to 77. Team ISO drops to 157. And then over the last 7 days, which I can't imagine how many lefties they've seen, but so 54 lefties, 24% K percentage, ISO 170, WRC plus back up around 100. The number that I'm really interested in is that strikeout percentage. That is very encouraging, especially for somebody like Crochet. When you are playing somebody at that salary, you definitely want to, bet on strikeout upside. You basically need them to not take much damage. And if it's any damage, it's got to be mitigated by strikeouts, and they probably got to get a win here. So I like Crochet. I don't like the price tag, but I definitely am going to probably play him in one of my 4 lineups tonight at least. Following him, we have Freddie. They have no issue with Freddie today against Atlanta. Looking at their team today, Profar, Olson, Baldwin, Murphy, Michael Harris, Ozzie Albies, Eli White, Nacho Alvarez, and Nick Allen. Yeah, we attacked him yesterday with Priester. I was all over Priester in my 50 lineups. I had him about 60% of those builds. I love it today. Freddie Peralta is a much, much better pitcher, so I have no problem going to Freddie today. Yo, Red Yoda, what's up? What's up? All right, Red Yoda is one of the sharpest players right now in the game. The girl brings down a 4-figure prize like once every 2 weeks now. Please give me some of your luck, Yoda. I need it badly. Following him, we do have Jose Soriano. Very high on Soriano tonight. I've always, he's a guy that I tend to click a lot just because I think he's a lot better than his price tag usually. But tonight he does get Tampa Bay. And I got to give a shout out to Dyer Walker in our Discord. He actually pointed this out earlier, and I went and dove in more. It actually made a lot of sense. So he's a very sinker heavy pitcher. And honestly, Tampa Bay, the one thing that they cannot hit is sinkers. They cannot hit sinkers to really save their lives. It's really bad. It's just a really bad matchup for them. And also, too, when you look at them over the most recent sample, and I'm just going to pull this up so you can see against right-handed pitching. So this is the 14-day sample, 25.3% K percentage, ISO of 0.102, WRC plus of 86, not good. I look at the 30-day sample, 93, 25th in WRC plus, 22.5% K percentage, not much power, 1.14 ISO. And even if you want to go really, really, short sample here, the last 7 days, they're even at the bottom here still, right? So 24% K percentage, 64 WRC plus, and an ISO of less than 100 as a team. Yeah, I'm in on some Soriano today. It's a little scary though, just because I kind of think that I kind of think Pepio, who we have affectionately call Pupio because he stinks sometimes. I do think it's a good spot for him too. But at 7,600, I just think there's a lot of meat on the bone here. I like that he's only 13% owned. I actually wonder if that number comes up a little bit, but I'm very into him today. Is he a Darvish pivot? No, not necessarily, because he's a lot more expensive than Darvish. But when we get to you, Darvish, too, I'll talk about some reasons why I do like him a lot tonight. You got Eovaldi against the Yankees. Eovaldi has been very, very good, to the point where you got to wonder if he wasn't injured much, what his trajectory this season would look like. We do have a nice projection on him. I believe we're a little bit higher than the industry. He does get the Yankees though tonight, and I do believe Aaron Judge is back. So I am a little afraid of that. I don't know how much I'm going to go really crazy on him. He'll be in my pool, but I don't think I'm going to really click him tonight, especially if I can just go to Freddie Peralta in a much easier matchup. I probably would just do that instead. And also, you're not even gaining much of an ownership difference there. Then you have Joey Wentz against Milwaukee. Joey Wentz has been very good, and I don't think his underlying is really that great, but he's been good enough. And he's been a little tough for these teams to deal with as of late. It's kind of funny. But the one thing about him that I don't love is that, one, he's a lefty, and Milwaukee mashes lefties. And two, this game is in Atlanta, so, usually it's hot and humid there. Let me go see the weather forecast today on Roto Grinders. All right, looks like last night there's a chance of a late start, possibly with weather. 7.5 total in the game. I don't really love that much. 73 degrees. All right, so not your usual, hot Atlanta day, but I don't really like attacking not great. I don't really like using not great pitchers in matchups where the split just doesn't favor them. So look here, last 30 days, Milwaukee against left-handed pitching, best in the league. Not a ton of power, but weighted runs created plus, elite. Low strikeout rate, elite. Let's look at them the last 14 days. Second best over the last 14 days, and the power is starting to come around. K rate still low. Last 7 days, same exact thing. Power is returning. So when I see that, I consider that a nice trend. And I guarantee if we go look at our trending models, we probably see Milwaukee in a really good spot. Yeah, you look at that, the top spot. It's actually not even close between Milwaukee and Toronto. So, I'm not touching Joey Wentz today. It's not going to happen. He's I'm not playing that fucking bum. If you want to play him, you can. I'm not touching him. Next we have Emmett Sheehan against St. Louis. Don't mind that. 7,200. St. Louis's offense is kind of falling off a cliff, and that's okay. Brian Wu, 10-4 against Chicago, the God White Sox. Nope, I'm out on that. No need for Brian Wu tonight. It's a good pitcher's park, but 10-4 for him. Not interested. On the other side, Davis Martin, 6,800. Interesting if you think he repeats what he just did against the Phillies. I'm a little less, enthusiastic about that, but it is a nice pitcher park for him. Outside of Cal Raleigh, nobody's really going to scare you from the left side of the plate there. If you're afraid of Luke Raley, be my guest. Josh Naylor, fine. But honestly, that park is just where offense goes to die. If you could hit home runs, you could do well there. But at that ownership, I like that a lot as a large field play. And it will actually be a pivot off of somebody else who I really do want to play. Ryan Pepio, a.k.a. Ryan Pupio, a.k.a. Ryan Duty Face, whatever you want to call him. This guy has lost us so much money this year. He is a good pitcher. His underlying is even okay too. But outside of hoping that he luck boxes into, 7-8 Ks tonight, I'm just not going to touch him there. Shota Imanaga, there's no chance I'm playing Shota. Absolutely zero chance. And especially too, I actually want to attack him more than I want to play him. I actually think that at that ownership, 13%, and when we rerun this, see if I can rerun it. All right, no, we haven't got updated ownership yet, but based upon whatever his ownership is how I'm going to play it tonight. If I think he's going to be north of, 15, 20%, I'm probably going to attack him a little bit. I think he's probably going to end up somewhere in the 20s if I had to guess. So I'm not into that. I'd rather just attack him with Cincinnati. We have Will Warren against Texas. Yeah, I don't think you need to do that. Will Warren is kind of come back down to earth, and Texas, you want to play them against, against righties, lefties. They tend to have a harder time with. Logan Allen against the Mets. Yeah, not interested. Mets don't strike out a ton, and Logan Allen is just ass. So we're good there. Darvish, 6,100, projection of 13. So I want to talk about Darvish here because for the life of me, I can't understand how this guy's not the highest owned pitcher tonight. And here's why. Number one, do I think that he's an excellent pitcher? No, I do not. But this rendition of this Arizona Diamondbacks is really not great. And even when you look at them over the most recent samples, so the last 30-day sample here, Arizona, 22% K percentage, WRC plus of 97, middling power 167. The last 14 days, they're even worse. 22.8% K percentage, ISO 135, WRC of 84. I don't know how much I, really want to really avoid Darvish. And on a really small sample, Arizona, low K percentage, high ISO, high, WRC plus. Okay, like if you want to buy into the small sample, you can. It's all about the price tag. And especially when you look at a guy like Darvish, he's been a very good pitcher in this league for a very long time. This may be a little box score watching of me, but had a really good game out against the New York Mets. Did get up to 76 pitches, so you can only think that number increases. He did have a dud game against St. Louis. He did have a dud game against Washington. And then he had a few other duds to really start the season, but I'm encouraged by that performance. I'm going to go take a look at his underlying and just see if there's anything that I don't really love. So here, update Darvish. All right, so I have Darvish in here for the season. For the season, he has given up a 407 slug, WOBA 3.327, not great, but let's see how he's supposed to look. So his xFIP is actually, wow, okay, that's surprising. So xFIP higher than his FIP, meaning he should be getting a little bit worse. K percentage is low and they don't strike out a whole lot, so that's okay. Left on base percentage isn't high, so that means he's genuinely been pretty bad. I look at him versus lefties. He's supposed to get much worse, and they do have some lefty killers there with Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte. Against righties, he's been rather elite. He's probably going to stay that way. So we don't have the Arizona lineup tonight, but after looking at this through, actually, we do have it. We have Corbin Carroll, Marte, Perdomo, Gurriel, Locklear, McCarthy, Alexander, Thomas, Herrera. Outside of the top three, I'm not really terrified, but I also don't know if you need to go that low tonight either. His xFIP and expected stats kind of give me a little less hope, so I might avoid him. I'm going to go take a look at him really quick on Baseball Savant and just see if I can pick up any nuggets there. So here at Baseball Savant, looking at the page here, Darvish expected slugging of 0.386. I like that. That's pretty low. Shit, I don't know what I just clicked. That's okay. I'm going to look at him a little bit deeper. So looking at Darvish here, here's the pitches he's throwing this season against lefties. He's just a junk pitcher. He just throws a lot of stuff at you. His expected slugging is supposed to drop on the pitches he throws the most. Slider is supposed to get hit a little bit worse. Sweeper is already getting hit hard, supposed to stay that way. Split finger, not as much. It's supposed to get worse, but not terrible. And four-seamer, he's supposed to have pretty good luck with. And against righties, he's kind of tightening up his rotation a little bit here, where he's got some really strong expected numbers versus where they are outside of his sweeper. So I kind of think he's fine, but I can see that there's a little bit more risk there than people would like to think. But I think his price is baked into that. At 6,200, he allows you to get to cores and 6,100 to get to cores and all these other spots. But outside of that, I'm not playing anybody else below that. I did kind of want to look into Berrios, but I'm just seeing his projection in too many places, including ours. Just it's not really that good, and especially because this stuff is reliant, as Nikki had so eloquently in our Discord stated. It is really, really dependent upon movement. So I think I'm going to avoid Barrios tonight. But so if I had to go with a pitching pool for you tonight, it's a combination of Crochet, Peralta, Soriano, Emmett Sheehan, and probably you, Darvish. That's probably where I'm gonna go tonight. If I was gonna do like any door number 3 guys or guys that like if they fit, if I feel like I need to go there, it's probably Davis Martin, but I don't really feel comfortable about that. And if you want to chase Ryan Pepio, aka Mr. Pupio, go be my guest. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but something to consider. All right, let's go take a look at some offenses. So I'm going to give this a quick rerun. So yeah, at the top, Toronto. All right, I'm gonna be abundantly clear about this because I said this in the Discord, and I was laughed off. I was laughed out of the Discord yesterday. The amount of people sending flopping fish memes and fish emojis at me and telling me that I'm a fish. Here's the bottom line. They are way too fucking cheap. Way too cheap. They are starting 4 guys sub 5K. You have a catcher who's batting 300, who's 3,700. You have Ernie Clement, the greatest hitter of all time, just a hair north of $4,000. Loperfido is sub 4. You got that bum Ty France at the end, but honestly, they are too cheap for cores. You literally can just set a rule in your optimizer where you're only going to do at most 2 of Bichette, Guerrero, Barger. Congratulations, you're already saving salary. Like I think that's just the way you play this tonight. Toronto's just in such a good spot. It's pretty fucking crazy, honestly. I just don't think you should avoid them. I'm playing 4 lineups today in small field. I'm gonna have combinations of them in easily 3 out of the 4. Probably only 5-man. I wouldn't 3-man them. They're just too chalky. Don't 3-man them, 5-man them, and run and do it. Colorado, also good play. I'm gonna have shares them tonight. I think they're awesome. Boston, love it. Sounds a lot like last night. I love it again. Let's do it again. To quote the great Steely Dan, do it again. We're going to go right back to Boston. LA against Pepio, I think that's fine. He does have some home run problems. I am a big fan of that. I don't love it what happens after you get past Pepio, but, they did sell off some pieces. He does have our highest expected home run split of the entire slate. You can see here, most recent sample, he should have given up 3 more home runs than he's actually given up. So I do think that's worth some consideration. You also have the Dodgers going against Michaelis. Well, like if I have to tell you to attack Miles Michaelis, you probably shouldn't be playing DFS. Brian Wu against Chicago, big home run problem, also expected home run problem, but the park may mitigate that. But overall, I think on offense today, it's very simple at the top. Toronto, Colorado, Boston, LAD, all fantastic plays. I like the Angels as well. Seattle, I think that's both sides where you can go Davis Martin or you can go Seattle Minis. Chicago against Littell, very expensive. They could be a pivot off of Toronto and Coors, but honestly, I don't know how much I want to attack them when I have a minor league pitcher going for Colorado tonight. It just seems like it's a little thin. Cincinnati against Shota, I definitely am going to have some Cincinnati tonight, especially with his home run problems. He's got a pretty big home run problem. And we go look at him in our tools here. So this is against lefties themselves. He's actually been pretty good. True average is not great, close to 300, but he's not giving up a ton of power. When we go and look at him versus righties, though, yeah, he's really bad. True average of 300, strikeout rate below 20%, expected slugging 450, expected home run for plate appearance 8%, good and tied for, this log jam of second worst on the slate. The one thing saving him is his expected slugging is not great. It's not as bad compared to some other pitchers tonight, but I do think getting to Cincinnati could be kind of sharp with that. Let's go take a look at the weather. Wind blowing in at 5 to 10, but whatever. I kind of doesn't really scare me off. 5 to 10. If it's anything more than 10, I think you got to consider it a little bit. But overall, I think that's okay to attack that chalk. Chicago White Sox, you want to take a mini fine. Mets mini fine. Texas, You know, New York's bullpen hasn't been great since they even made the additions. I don't mind them. Cleveland against Clay Holmes. I think almost every pitcher on the Mets right now, not named Manaea, in their starting rotation is broken. And also, he's got a tremendous walk problem. So I actually don't mind Cleveland minis today. I think that's actually pretty sharp. I think Cleveland minis are very good in this spot. St. Louis against Emmett Sheehan. Yep, no thank you. I'd rather be on the Sheehan side. Tampa Bay against Soriano. No thank you. San Diego against Ryan Nelson. I like this a little bit more than our sheets do, just because if you get past Ryan Nelson, you're probably in a good spot with that bullpen. Yankees against Eovaldi. Yeah, if you want to pay those prices, be my guest. I'm out. Arizona against Yu Darvish, probably out on that. Milwaukee against Joey Wentz. I don't agree with this at all. I actually hope that this changes. I do think that Milwaukee is a fine play today, especially at that cheap of a stack. Fine play. Atlanta, Freddie Peralta, no thank you. And actually the Yankees went to the bottom since this update. Seattle has taken a jump. LA still up there. Boston up there. LAD. Chicago has taken a little bit of a rise, so maybe I'll go reconsider them. And Mets and Cleveland have both taken a little bit of a jump up. So overall, my offenses today are going to be a combination. When I'm going 5-mans, I'm going to keep it very simple. Toronto, Colorado, Boston. I'll give the Dodgers a nod, and I'll put Milwaukee in there just because they're really, really cheap. Every other 3-man in play, but that's where I'm going to go for 5-mans. And last but not least, let's go take a look at our contest simulations and just see what they want us to do in small field single entry builds tonight. Okay, that was fast. So you'll see here that when you go sort by exposure for starting pitchers, big exposure to Soriano, big exposure to Sheehan, big exposure to Crochet and Joey Wentz. So this is the idea of the build path of where you maybe want to go just with these salaries today. I'm not saying you have to click all these pitchers, but like Joey Wentz, I'm probably not going there tonight. But a combination of Soriano, Sheehan, Soriano, Crochet, Sheehan, I'm all for that. The highest edge at pitcher today is Soriano, Sheehan, Wentz, and then actually a little bit on Davis Martin. That's encouraging. Also a positive edge on Nelson, Burgett, Michaelis, Warren, Clay Holmes. I'm probably not touching them. Lowest edge on Brian Wu. No surprise. Probably should just attack Brian Wu with a 3-man. I wouldn't 5-man, but you want a 3-man, one off, all for it. Freddie Peralta, a little surprising, but it's probably just because of his salary. And Shota's bad, bad chalk, and Eovaldi's bad chalk as well. When I go look at team exposures, Boston, no surprise. LA, Toronto, Colorado, like that a lot. I'm going to have just a combination of those. And overall exposures, the worst play on Slate, Wu, and this is just at their ownership. Doesn't mean you can't play them. But Dalton Varsho, Loperfido, Freddie Peralta, Pupio, and Shota Imanaga. Best plays at their edge, Soriano, Tovar, Lukes, Shohei, Williard, Hamilton, Wentz, Goodman. So really, in small field, it's very easy to get different today and gain leverage. Maybe focus on a different part of a Toronto stack. Maybe go play some Colorado instead. And all in all, play parts of Boston too. So overall, that's going to do it for this show. But I would love to throw it to anybody for any questions they have. We're running really well on time, so I'd love to answer anything you guys have. Going once, going twice, sold. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Come check us out over at Paydirt DFS again, especially in time for football season. The amount of tools we have, it's nonstop content, nonstop previews. Our showdown models, in my opinion, are the best in the industry. I think we're going to prove that this upcoming year again. And I think we got to have some nice main slate hits as well. But again, this is Jason over at Paydirt DFS. Thank you guys so much, and let's go collect some trophies tonight. Best of luck.